So this question here I gave a go before, and I couldn't get it in about 25 minutes, and I think the answer has made a lot more sense now since I took a break. So the question is the longest substring without a repeating character. We have our inputs, we have to get the longest substring in the whole thing for each character. I think I'm going to essentially try and just brute force this to an extent. So to start, I need I'm just going to start with a list. I can just actually do a counter of max length. And I can initialize this to start. np dot, how do you do minus infinity? numpy minus infinity. I can just do it as -1. So, what I want to do is basically iterate over my string s, and I have to find the substring without repeating characters. So I want to go from each position in my string effectively. So I want to go here and then check until I hit the next repeating character. Then I want to check until I hit the character, and I want to update the max length each time it is greater, then return the max length at the end. So I also want to keep track of the length at each character, so it's always going to start as 1, because even if we have 2 characters like this, I'll still hit the first one, then hit the repeating character and exit out. But then I want to go for J in range I, it's the length of S, and then what I do is if Si equals Sj, if I want to break, and should, so in this case Si will equal 0, then we go here, should be I plus 1, 0, 0, I would want 0. Okay. Elif in the case that they're not equal, what I want is length to increase by 1, in the first for loop. Greater than max length. Max length will become length. I just want to return the max length. I think this will work. Break once it equals the same letter as the one in front. Add one and start from the next letter. Okay, let's see. Output -1 is not see here. Issue here. It should always be updating that. Let's see. Print length. Expect. Oh. Why is this never updating my max length? Cool. Again. Code. Max length is never updating to the actual. So I actually want to set this to length. It's 0. Don't get set duration. So let's see why max length isn't getting set. If length is greater than max length, standard output -1. Don't want a typo here. Run that again. Output is 5. Why is that happening? It's working. TA. Obviously. Okay, so what I want to do is I want a set for visited elements. So for each s of I, what I want to do is I want to add vid.add s of I. After adding it, I need to also add the j's that we visit. So if s of j in visited, I want to break, else length increases by 1. Hit the next loop and I add visited. This will work. Okay. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's run this. See how many I'm getting. Okay. S of j. So if next letter is in visited set, we break, we increase the length by 1. Okay. Back. Length will increase. Six if something is going wrong. 1, 2, 5, 1, 1, 2. That's interesting. So the max length of J is invisited. Go back to here and break out of this for J. Probably because we're never clearing it. Here the set that we've visited. Breaking, so it goes back to nothing, and then we go back to I and add it. Odd, because we're never actually hitting. Why is this returning 5? It's the length. If the length is greater than the max length, and then it should go back to length is equal to 1. And it should clear it, right? I think so. Yeah. Okay. This we'd expect 2, I believe. Element. Visited element. That's what we're after. This. Break out of this loop. This should print 6. That's what we're after. Something's going wrong with the length here. Not being updated correctly or added. Print the length. Get rid of I actually. Run this. It's greater than the max length. Length. is cleared. Start the loop with a length as 'Interesting that the max length is being set to 5, when at no point the length ever is becoming 5, it's becoming 2 and then 3 at each time. Somehow adding those together. Three, 5. Right, so the first run through, it's not realizing. Visited.add sj. It's an unfortunate mistake to make. This works. Interesting. Can probably set this to 0 and it should work. Yeah, nice. Fastest? Probably because I'm using a double for loop, but definitely good to get it at least working, and a bit silly to forget to add the each element to the visited set, but generally pretty happy with that because at least it works.